That's me, Ron O.J. Parson. A lot of people always say, "What's the O.J. for?" That's for me to know and you to find out. Nah. Well, it covers such a wide range. If we say, black artists, the realm of that is so wide that I think it's a great thing to be able to document some of that history. I know I talk about some of the people back, we talk about Ira Aldridge and, people like that. For me, there's a guy, Egbert Williams, who was the first black Equity member. And he also was a guy, an actor that I idolized because he was back in the day with minstrelsy and things like that. And the thing is, he was a classically trained actor. But because of the history of this country and the racism that existed and oppression and whatnot, he couldn't do his real thing. So he was forced to do blackface, And you think about actors like Canada Lee and Burt Williams and people like that who were forced. A lot of times they're tortured souls because they couldn't really exhibit their talent the way that they wanted to. Thank God for people like Douglas Turner Ward and Robert Hooks, who founded Negro Ensemble Company. Douglas Turner Ward just passed away. And if it wasn't for people like that, we wouldn't have been able to open up and be able to express ourselves. So documenting some of that history, like for instance, Douglas Turner Ward influenced me. So who influenced him? What made him do that? And then going back, young people need to know about these people. I talk to some young people sometimes who don't know Negro Ensemble Company. And to me, that's mind-boggling because if it wasn't for them, you wouldn't have us. And so, yeah, I just think that it's just such a beautiful idea to be able to document some of those issues so we can go to the museum and we can go, I had to go to the library. A lot of these people I learned from the library before internet, of course. And, so being able to go in one place and be able to look and find these different aspects, dance, art, theater, music, I mean, it's a beautiful thing. It's about time, and I think it's just a great thing to have the opportunity to do that. Well, I believe a lot of because there's a movement going on, right? And granted, I've been through a lot of movements, but this one I think I really see something happening. Not to say that I didn't see anything happening before, Martin Luther King, Malcolm X, voting rights, all of those things are great. But now seeing it in this current movement, unfortunately it had to come at the expense of a man like George Floyd, where people had to realize, but he ain't the first, the number of people that have been sacrificed. I worked on a production of Pipeline, and Brian Stevenson was the co-producer down in Montgomery, Alabama. And I got to go to the Montgomery Museum, African American Museum, the lynching memorial. Blew me away, man. Blew me away. Seeing the documentation and that's only the documented lynchings. To see all the people who have sacrificed, not just, and I was telling somebody the other day, it's not just about the people who were marched in the movement. It's about the people who lost their lives for nothing, just for being black or brown or whatever, and just being sacrificed. That's what they sacrificed too. So, our world today, we need to be able to express ourselves. And that's really what's happening. People are understanding and seeing the disparity of who we are and what we are. I look at commercials now and I see so many brown, black people and Asian people that you never saw before. When I was coming up, you couldn't be on the newlywed game if you were married interracially. They wouldn't allow it. You look at the things now that you see. People are recognizing that it's about time for us to be able you need to be able to accept and understand the commitment and the what we've brought to this country. This is America. That's what America is about. It's a melting pot, you know? And I think people now are seeing that's what this is. We're all different. That's what makes it great, you know? And so when you look at the music, the jazz, the blues, and the influence of what that has meant to the industry of this country. You know, I was watching a YouTube video of a black group doing bluegrass, and somebody said, "Oh wait, I bet you their audience is totally white." You know, actually it was me that said that, and I'm like, but then it was brought up that that's music we started too. You know, all that stuff, the riffs, the chord changes, the nuance, the harmonies. We were doing that on the slave plantations, you know. It to me, it's all from Africa. You know, that's how I look at it, you know. And it has just intermingled with everything in America, you know. And that's what would America be without us, you know. So being able to document all of that and having young people 100 years from now to be able to go and see and hear about these people. Well, I think what I've been saying about young people getting involved, but I also think that, you know, education of, you know, programs that, you know, like we tour some of these major museums, we take school kids and this and that. I think that kind of thing, and not only that, tourist attraction, you know. I think this is something that would bring tourists to that location to see this, you know. Again, going back to what the movement is doing is making people, they want to use the term woke, you know, but awake, all of those things. And it may make people understand, because I try to tell people now that now you see in the world what we had to go through all our lives looking at TV. I mean, I studied directing at the University of Michigan, and we didn't do any quote unquote black theater. We did it on our own, on the side, to do that. Yeah, but yet when we're directing plays, sometimes they look at us to direct just the black plays. But the thing is, we directed it with Ibsen, Chekhov, Shakespeare, all of that too. So, but I think a museum like that can document some of these directors that were out there before us, artists, you know, actors. Again, people that we don't know, the people that you don't know because they were so far in the past. But you know, we had black women writing plays in the 1800s. We had, you know, people. Phyllis Wheatley wasn't the only one that was writing poetry. We just did a podcast series at the theater I work at Core Theater, where we brought out some writers who had never been, you know, kind of highlighted. And so that was the kind of thing we wanted to do. But I think to your initial question, I just think this kind of thing makes it easy to find out about our history and to find out the documentation of things that we don't know, things that we don't see. That's why, you know, archival, going deep inside, you're able to find that. And maybe there's performances built around what's going on and things like that, you know. I think coordinating with other organizations like this across the country, but there aren't many, if any. I don't, yeah, you know, when I heard about it, I was like, yeah, I don't know where there is another one like that. So I think that part of it, I think, because it is something new, you know, and something needed, and it's something that can inspire others. So it can be the beginning of something big.